All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Capitalism, socialism, communism. Uh, Intriguing fellow Gerald Bailey asked me to do a video on this particular topic, but at another point he asked me to talk about the deals that he felt like we made with America. First, I'm gonna talk about the capitalism part. I had a video called I have a video called "Capitalism Caused It All." What I mean by that is capitalism is at this point an ideology of oppression. What I mean by that is you have creators and credit takers. In capitalism, the people who create things are usually not the people who take credit for it. So you can create something, but somebody will take credit for it and get more out of it than you will in a monetary fashion. So what you create, somebody else can take credit for it and still and reap the benefits of. That's what this whole country was fucking built on. This is a stolen country, mind you. That's to me. This is why this country is. You really can't own nothing. You know, even when you own your house, you own your land, they're going to try to tax you to death out of it until eventually you don't own it anymore. Somebody else gets the chance to own it. And this is not a land that's the government's to begin with. You get what I'm saying? This is an annexed part of the world that's really, what that means is it was stolen. Somebody put a flag on it that said it is mine, even though they never paid the motherfucking people who owned it for it in the first place. So, now, socialism socialism is more of a, socialism and communism to me are more of a system where everybody gets a piece of the pie. Only difference is you have this constant oligarchy in all three of them. And even fascism, you got this constant oligarchy in all three of them. You know, when you're in a capitalist society, everybody fend for themselves, but they're not really telling you, there are all these hurdles and hoops and adversity you have to through that are not actually necessarily life obstacles. They are man-made, placed hurdles and obstacles to face so you can get tripped up so somebody can take the credit for your creation. With socialism and communism, everybody's going to have the same thing, but you're going to have these oligarchs or monarchs who get to live a freer life when it comes to resources, because while they're spreading the wealth, everybody get $200. Well, motherfucker, you got 200 billion. Why you can't spread a little bit more than that? But socialism in some ways is more of socialism and communism to me are more of a family structure. You know, a family pulls itself together if it's correct. A community may pool itself together to do for self if it's correct. This is how you build nations, in a sense. You build your family as your society, your community is your society. But there's always in those processes somebody who has more than everybody else. So a lot of times people drain the somebody with the most. And that's the issue even in American society. When you have somebody who's one in a capitalistic sense and you have a bunch of people on their coattails to the point where they drain them and bleed them dry, but they didn't contribute anything. It's one thing to have a even socialist or communist society. When people bring things to the table, they need to be, they are at the same create and credit taking dynamic as a person in a capitalistic society. So the difference is you may be able to get more financially out of it, or resource wise out of it in a capitalistic society, but there are many more hurdles, leeches, sharks, wolves, vultures just circling you. Fascism, communism, socialism, you pretty much know who coming to get you if you're doing too good, in my opinion. I could break it down in other ways, but I'm gonna just leave it at that. Now, the other part is about Mr. Bailey was saying, as far as blacks in America, we have agreed to the terms of this society. And I'm not necessarily sure of that because uh, if I'm not mistaken at this particular time, because I've been doing other things all day, um, a lot of the things that were set up that we benefit from sometimes, because I can't say all times, were not set aside for us specifically. When people talk about black people on welfare, that wasn't set up for black people. When people talk about Medicare, you see how the medical field is treating us as it is today. That really wasn't set up for us. That's why when Obama had the the medical act, people was, oh, that's like reparations because you motherfuckers ain't supposed to be healthy and live long lives and figure out how to get how to build wealth. I know that's what that was about. Now things set aside was affirmative action, but everybody else, affirmative action is basically a mirror image of $5 Indians that we got running around here today. All of a sudden, everybody knew affirmative action was for black people, but then everybody's a minority now. I'm kind of black, I fucked a black person, so it makes me I have some black in me, or I was in something black, I'm not, I may be not black, but I'm a minority, and I'm treated just like black people. Not really, but I'm gonna say that today, so I can get some shit that type of shit. So, it's just like the other treaties the numerous treaties that the United States government made with the Native Americans. They never fulfilled on none of them motherfuckers. So, to me, there is no deals made because this government doesn't make deals with people of color, especially black and Native American. I should say Native American and then black because Native American is considered the native to this country. There were black people here too, but when we say Native American, that means that's who's counted first. So, in my opinion, this society is going to continue to be oppressive. Worldwide, capitalism in general is oppressive. You got people in Europe, living great lifestyles off of the shit they stealing from Africa. You got people in China, which is supposed to be a communist nation, buying into this capitalist shit, so they stealing shit from Africa too. You got America is stolen. Australia is fucking stolen. Hawaii is basically occupied at this particular point, but that's part of America, so I can say that. I can't. Most regions have had some kind of tampering where something was taken from them and is used as something in another form of the world as wealth. Because I can't really think of anything that Europe really produces other than makeup and alcohol. Everything else they need comes from somewhere else. And America just got away from making shit. They just, we don't want to make shit no more. And I've made a video about that previously. Like, part of America's downfall was they've been trying to replace slavery ever since, the Emancipation Proclamation. Not just replace slavery, but replace the work ethic and ingenuity of the black male and female, because a lot of the things that we use in our modern day society were invented, originated by black people. It's just we didn't get the credit for them. It was once said that the patent office was the greatest, house for theft ever made, because you got to go through the patent offices, and back in the day, patent offices was full of white people, And guess what? They could steal your goddamn patent and give it to somebody that they knew. So people, not only, and there's plenty of things, of inventions that were created that somebody, that's why you have an original, the first thing they got patented, and then you can patent this little offset. That's how you got a fucking Coke and a Pepsi. You get what I'm saying? That's how you got that shit. Because if Coca-Cola was invented, what the fuck is a Pepsi? Coca-Cola's here first. Okay, that's cola. Now you got, oh well, I didn't, mine only isn't exactly like Coke. I took this one ingredient out. It's different. It's Pepsi. And now you got Coke, Pepsi, then you got RC Cola, then you got this. But imagine if Coca-Cola was a black dude, they'd stole that shit from him, promoted Pepsi, he had to sell Coke, then they'd have promoted Coke, then all this other cola would have came out. So this country is all fucked up because of capitalism. This world, to a degree, is all fucked up because of capitalism. Because even the way we, even the way we operate, people seem to forget that the way we eat is off. Foods grow seasonally. What is the big deal with eating the foods in their season? Everything has a season. What is the big deal? How come, crawfish has a season, shrimp have a season, salmon has a season, potatoes have seasons, watermelons have seasons, grapes have seasons, apples have seasons. How the fuck peppers have seasons? Why we just can't eat everything in the season? Spinach has a season. You know what I'm saying? Like, this part of capitalism. We just want what we want, how we want it, when we want it, and we're going to take credit for it, and we're going to fuck everything up to do it. It is my opinion. I want to talk about some other things, especially with, you know what, I added into it real quick. This is the difference between suburban life and inner city life. It's capitalism. Because when you live in the suburbs, you have access to better food. When you live in the suburbs, you have access to cleaner water, cleaner air. Because it goes with the territory that you have more money than these other people. So you have to earn a certain amount to actually be able to afford living a decent life in, quote unquote, a free country. So the more money you have, the more ability you have to be around better resources that can prolong your life. In this country, if you don't have that money, you might die early. You might be relegated to eating old meat. You might be relegated to eating the fruits and vegetables that may have been stepped on, tampered with, too much pesticide. You might be in an area of town near the airport where, not just noise, but air pollution and everything else. You might be in a neighborhood that people talked about the chemtrails back in the days. You might be, quote unquote, in Flint. The irony about that is, don't think Flint doesn't have suburbs that are full with more well-off folks. They don't have water problems. So, this is my reason why I'm saying that capitalism, to a degree, is oppression. So I'm out. Peace.